Hallo und willkommen bei IF, Important Facts You Need to Know, mit einem kurzen Special. Ich wollte mich ja eigentlich erst melden, wenn sich die Lage hier beruhigt oder normalisiert hat. Nun denn, aber das zieht sich doch etwas in die Länge. Aber es ist gut für die Welt zu sehen, was für ein Chaos hier entstanden ist. Und jetzt gerade an der Grenze auch noch, die Tausende von Kindern, was für Zustände, die da aufbewahrt werden. Und die Presse darf da nicht rein und berichten davon. Fürchterlich. Aber es sickert eben doch einiges durch. Also das Chaos ist extrem. Aber in diesem Video geht es um CGI Biden. Ist er wirklich im Weißen Haus? Ich habe jetzt gerade mal das Castle Rock Studio besucht hier in Los Angeles. Da gibt es auch ein Weißes Haus. Und an der Ostküste gibt es auch noch ein drittes Weißes Haus. Also beurteilt selbst hier im Hintergrund. CGI Biden, für mich ist es klar. Fake, fake, fake. Bis dann. Macht's gut. Und ich hoffe bald mit richtig guten Nachrichten. Und tschüss.
All right, without further ado, let's intro the Biden video. And I'm going to talk to it first, and we'll watch it. I'm going to stop it and pause it, and I want to point out some things. So when this thing starts at about the 10 to 12 second mark, I want you to look at his hands and watch the mics at the bottom of the screen, okay? And you're going to notice that his hands go through the mics and are out in front of it, and that the mic is like up under, like it's just a weird, it's not under, it's through it. So that, my friends, is a CGI. And so I'm going to show you that when you see it, you're going to be like, oh my, like, and then we'll talk to it and talk about it. There's some other points. There's about 5 other things on there I want to show you because it's a red flag for me. And I don't know, I don't know. It's all an illusion, I guess. But here we go. All right. So one of you guys are asking before we hit that about the B-52s from yesterday. I think they just RTB'd and went right, returned to base. So I didn't see them exfil out of the U.S. They looked to me like they just flew some stuff down south in a 4-ship and then went back. So, all right, without further ado, the Biden video. Okay. Now watch his hands at the bottom of the screen here. Mike's, Lucky Mike.
Not at the moment.
And did you see it go behind his hands? It's pretty crazy. Now, I want to point out a few things. I'm going to back this up, all right, just a little bit. Now, I'm assuming you guys, can you hear the noise on that video? I'm assuming you can because my media source is showing it. Now, notice, if you would, to the right of his hands, this stuff is it almost looks like a fuzz around that microphone. That's because that's CGI, okay? It is, it's a horrible job, and it looked like it's patchwork, okay? And now, the other thing too is, notice what he is wearing. His attire, he's wearing a thin summer suit, okay? And so it's because it's, I'll just point that out. He's wearing a thin summer suit, and I want you to realize that he is basically, we're going to talk to a security detail in a second, but now look at the suits and the coats, and the guys are wearing head socks out there, and just look at what everybody else is wearing versus what he's wearing. Okay, all right, so here we go. We're going to continue on to play that. See his hands in front of the mic? It's incredible. Now he's stepping in. Now that mic's got that fuzz around it, and you just notice it's got kind of like this Vaseline look around the outer edges of the mic, and that's because they're using a screen, and you can't get rid of that in some cases because of the colors and the color palette without doing some serious work. Now look at the hats, jackets, and there's no Marine standing at the door, Marine 1. Normally there are Marines standing right there, and so there is no Marine standing at that, so that aircraft is parked. And so now look at the security detail. Right, I'm going to back this up just a little bit. Notice the jackets these guys are wearing, but I also want to point out how sloppy these guys look for a Secret Service. Secret Service are one of the most squared away guys. I mean, they are high and tight, and so Now look at these guys. They look scruffy. They don't look like true U.S. Secret Service guys. Okay, they stand out out of a crowd. Okay, because they are. You knew the training those guys go through and the background that they have and the pedigree that they have. They are like the cream of the crop. You don't get a bunch of sloppy dudes in there unless they're just old retired guys. But if they are, they're not working the presidential detail. You know, they're doing all the other legwork around it. But the guys that are guarding the president are usually top notch. Okay, now watch these security guys as we bring this in. See how that guy just looked kind of sloppy? All right, now they're going to back out again in a second. I got it on loop. All right, now here's the other thing I wanted to point out. Notice this SUV back here in the background, right? That SUV right there has got racks on the top. There's no presidential seal on the side, but notice it looks like a dated SUV. Now I want to show you something. This is the Biden, so this is the SUV that we're talking about. It's got luggage racks on the top, okay? Notice the luggage racks. So if we go back to that video, you're going to see the luggage racks on the top. Now, in November 2020, they came out with new SUVs, and they don't have that luggage rack. They've got this increased dome on the top of it. That's like another layer of security. It's a completely different model. Okay. Now you go back to his video and you look at that SUV back there. You can see on the very top the luggage racks. That is the old model pre-November 2020, okay? And so just something is not right. So I'll go through it and I'm gonna not talk, but watch your hands on the mic and then notice security detail and notice there is no guard or Marine standing at the door, okay? Those hands went right through the microphones, okay? This is all CGI. These guys are... Now, I'm not saying by any means he's not the President of the United States. What I'm saying is they are using CGI and other things to try to appear. I think they don't have any confidence in him being around the media. And so they're having to do these things because he is not... I don't think he has the cognizance to do long-term stuff. He can't take fielded questions because he's just bubbling. I seriously, it just, something is definitely up. But oh, and the other piece too, hang on, I want to back this up 1 second before we go to this. Check out the car in the background. See the green fence, that tennis fence netting that's over here on the background on the horizon behind him. Note that car back there. I don't know what year that car is, but that looks like, it's like an old, like, I can't tell, Mazda M3 or something, but what is that doing back here in the back shot? It just seems very, very strange, okay? All right, so that was one of the things I wanted to point out. I was trying to post it last night from my mobile phone, and Patreon just wouldn't jive with the software because I think the size of the file I was trying to post and the fact that it was a video, and you're kind of limited when it comes to putting that kind of, like, from your phone. The app doesn't work well with that. It's really PC based is a lot better. So okay, so you saw the jackets, totally different seasonal wear. Those guys, everybody's wearing these heavy thick jackets, and he's out there in this summer suit, right? So something doesn't add up. Okay, now let me show you something else that I was looking at. If you go over to Air Force One on the White House webpage, right? What does it say right here? It says Air Force One is one of the most recognizable symbols of the presidency, spawning countless references not just in American culture, but across the world. It's emblazoned with the words United States of America, the American flag, and the seal of the President of the United States. And it is an undeniable presence wherever it flies, okay? Folks, if you're on Air Force One, you are going to be sporting Air Force One. It's call sign, you're the president.